Don't come naked. Don't come back naked either.
Naked gripper.
Henry Ford was one of the biggest influencers of the American culture we know and love today. Though he did not invent the automobile or the assembly line, he was the first to combine the two. His innovative idea of using the moving assembly line to build automobiles revolutionized transportation and American industry, as well as helped establish the middle class. Henry Ford was born on July 30th, 1863, in Spring Wells Township, Michigan. His love for engines and machinery dates back to his childhood. As a child, he could always be found tinkering with objects, taking them apart and putting them back together in order to figure out how they worked. At the age of 16, he left his family's farm to pursue his interest in machinery. In 1888, he married Clara Bryant, and they later had a son whom they named Edsel Ford. During this era, the typical American could not afford to purchase an automobile. People found their way around by walking, bicycling, horse-drawn carriages, or train. The automobile was considered to be a luxury toy for the wealthy. The average cost of an automobile was around $2,000, close to $50,000 in today's currency. One of his goals was to create an automobile so low in price that no man making a good salary will be unable to own one. He founded the Henry Ford Motor Company in 1903 after working in the industry for years. He developed many models through the beginning years. Finally, he decided to focus on one type of model, the Model T, which made its debut in October 1908. The mass production techniques Henry Ford championed allowed Ford Motor Company to turn out one model every 24 seconds. In doing so, he was able to keep the costs down. The initial price of the Model T in 1908 was $850, and by 1925, he was able to lower the price down to less than $300. According to the history website, Henry Ford also increased the daily wage for an 8-hour day for his workers to $5, up from $2.34 for 9 hours, setting a standard for the industry. The combination of increasing wages and low-cost production meant that most Americans would be able to purchase their first family car. This led to a change in the American culture and the establishment of the middle class. The factory gave jobs to many people who usually could not find work, such as immigrants, women, and minorities. The creation of the Model T, according to an article on the American Public Profile website, fostered a movement from the farms to urban manufacturing jobs and eventually the suburbs. His mastery of the assembly line also paved the way for massive production of materials needed for World War II. People were able to travel farther and faster than ever before, and people started to go on drives for fun. This led to a need for fast food restaurants, interstates and highways, gas stations, hotels, and so much more. Henry Ford changed the way Americans lived for the better. Today, the Ford Motor Company is worth close to $145 billion. His determination, drive helped create the massive trillion-dollar automotive industry. He increased the quality of life for the working middle class by increasing wages, creating an affordable automobile, and by giving jobs to those who needed jobs. More than 15 million Model Ts were produced in all, reaching a rate of 9,000 to 10,000 per day in 1925. This was finally surpassed in 1972 by the Volkswagen Beetle. He changed the standards of the industry with the common working class family in mind. And although his increase in wages outraged many other big businessmen, they also began to follow suit, making life a little more enjoyable for all.